Welcome back. Ian Harvey here, massage therapist. You can see my license number down there. If you want to skip straight to the ice massage, you can click up there. And also consider subscribing and maybe check out my blog. Whatever. Today, we're going to talk about what to do if you are hurt. Heaven forbid. So, when people get a backache, they get a neck ache, they take an impact to their knee, something like that, a lot of people flock to using heating pads, things like that, because it feels nice, and it does have an analgesic effect, but heat isn't always the right answer, and that tends to be our cure-all for anything that hurts. Heat increases inflammation. It increases blood supply when there's already plenty of blood supply and plenty of inflammation. If you've got plantar fasciitis, for instance, or if you've got tennis elbow, you already have plenty of blood flow to that area. It's already plenty angry and it doesn't need any help from heat. So if you do use heat, I recommend using ice after. In fact, I recommend just using ice, but that just might be me. And rather than just throwing a cold pack on there, which is okay, it's convenient. That's about the only good thing I can say about it, other than that it does promote healing. But they're cumbersome, they don't get things that cold, and they take forever, and they're just kind of... There's a train going by. It's just kind of uncomfortable. But there is an alternative. It is ice massage, and it might seem kind of crazy, and I might seem kind of crazy, but ice massage is fast. You'll be done in 5 minutes. It's very effective. You'll find that you get an excellent healing effect from this. You'll get immediate pain relief, and you'll probably find that the next day you have less soreness. So, the standard protocol for any sort of injury is rest, ice, compression, elevation. We'll talk about compression later. Elevation, I don't do that. Do you do that? I don't do that. But ice is, I think, misunderstood. It's given a bad rap because it can be uncomfortable. But it has excellent healing properties. If you want to see some examples of that, check out the info section down there, the description, and I'll link to some things about it. But let's get to the procedure. It's pretty easy. All it is applying a piece of ice to the area of interest. Let's say I've got tennis elbow. You ice the area of interest, then you wipe. You ice, you wipe. And I'm going to show you how this works. This is my amazing advanced technology. I learned this from Pete Whitridge, who is my sensei at Florida School of Massage. Very smart guy, and he learned that using ice and then dabbing away the water actually increases the speed of cold infiltration from a medical journal. It's funny what you learn if you read. I should read. Anyway, the procedure. You apply the ice, things get wet and cold, and you wipe. Suddenly it's less wet, it's less cold, it's less unpleasant. And you proceed on in that fashion. If I have tennis elbow, I'm going to work on the part that hurts, this lateral aspect of my elbow right here, and I'm going to work a little ways down because this is where the muscles travel. And I don't know if you're following along at home. That's very unlikely, but if you are, if you feel the area that you've worked on, it's already insanely cold. It's already starting to get a little bit numb. So right now I'm icing, then I'm wiping. Icing, wiping. I know it's hard to tell the difference between what I'm doing, but mostly I'm icing, then with a quick wipe. And this keeps my hand from getting cold. It's just jolly good times. If you need a bigger piece of ice, you can freeze a Dixie cup full of water. You could tear off the bottom and use the top as a handle, but I just like this. It works well. And ice packs definitely have their place. If you don't have time for anything else, ice packs work better than nothing. They do promote healing, but how's this for fun? I'm done. That's it. That's all I needed to do. I'm pretty darn numb, which is okay. If I were having pain here, it would be greatly lessened. And yet I'm not in pain. That wasn't a painful process. Like the initial second is a little shocking, but after that it's fine. And I do this on myself pretty much every day because I've got forearm issues just from working as a massage therapist, but they're all something that I can handle because I do a lot of preventative stuff, and I also do reactive stuff where I ice if I need to. So consider trying out ice massage for your next injury, and I think that you'll find that it's way less unpleasant than an ice pack, it's way more effective than a heating pad, and that the results are instantaneous. There's something else I like that I'd like to show just for product placement purposes, but this is something that I clearly like because I got a huge friggin' bottle of it, but it's Biofreeze, and I'm going to put up a link to it. But it's not a replacement for ice, but it's like super Bengay. I'm sure they don't have that on their label anywhere, but that's kind of what it is. It absorbs very well, it makes you stink like a medicine cabinet, but whenever I use it, I wake up the next day feeling better. So that's something to consider. And that's it for today. I'm going to be referring back to this video a lot because anytime I have you do any self-massage, I'll want you to ice down afterward. And this is pretty much my protocol of choice just because it's so darn effective. As always, tell your friends, check out my blog, maybe subscribe, and thanks for stopping by.